Good morning from Chicago, traders. It's 8:02 a.m. Central Time on Tuesday, the 9th of November, 2021. This is episode number 2112. Derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Looking at what we have today in our pre-market summary sheet from Convergent Trading. Again, I encourage you to follow Conv Trading, twitter.com/Conv Trading to get this report at 8:50 a.m. Eastern Time every day. The overall market posture is mixed this morning. Looks like most markets dipped down and then recovered. The NASDAQ is strongest this morning. NASDAQ's been a bit of a laggard and a party pooper lately, and it's recovering a little bit versus yesterday's action. So that's where we are. In earnings, we only have we had Cardinal Health, Cisco, WRK, DR Horton, and ADT after the market. We have DoorDash. Overall, the headlines, very, very quiet news flow today. The big piece, the U.S. infrastructure package has passed. This, by the way, in case you think this is a non-event, this infrastructure thing has been debated and talked about since the prior administration's start. So it's taken about 5 years or 4 years or something to get this thing out there. $1.2 trillion in infrastructure improvements, which is just something that's really badly needed in the United States. But today, in terms of event risk, we're looking at U.S. Fed Chair Powell again. At 9 Eastern, we're looking at Fed's daily at 11. The 10-year note auction at 1, Kashkari at 1:30, API crude oil stock change after the close at 4:30. Building permits out of Australia, and then an important number here, the inflation rate and PPI out of China at 8:30. That's likely to move things around. And so that's where that stands. The current posture of the S&P is a multi-distribution profile, 143,000 contracts traded. Much of the volume occurred below settle, so about 42% short, 17.5 points of range, which is well within what we would consider to be normal for this product. And the point of control is 46.95. Because yesterday was an inside day, the composite point of control, or the micro composite point of control, is 46.90. So the market remains in balance as we come in. It's been pretty slow. There's a slight modification to the format of the Trader Bite. I'm going to not cover the prior session's hypotheses. It just makes no sense. To spend the time doing that. I'm not going to do it. It's just, you can always go back to YouTube. The videos are there. You can always go back to YouTube and look at it yourself. Yesterday, the primary expectation is that we would push the overnight high, and we would actually dip down and then push the overnight high and start squeezing through that 47.11 area. The secondary scenario is the push through the overnight high and then fail to continue and then rotate down to 46.90. We got to 46.86, I think. Is that right? 46.86.75. So scenario 2 had it. Yesterday was just an awful trade, in my opinion. It just didn't have anything in it. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Not much there to play with. And so it was a very quiet trade. And you can see that the RTH market generated level, the VWAP and the mid are coming in converging with the full session VWAP mid. Basically, what this is saying to me is that at the open, even though we rallied right into the open, at the open, much of the action ended up converging on what the session had done before that. And we closed pretty much on top of, we closed and settled at 46.94, right on top of the point of control for the session, right on top of the mid VWAP for RTH and for the full session. It was just very, very poor trading, in my opinion. There wasn't much here to do. This is the kind of trade actually where you start to look under a microscope. You start to say things like, I'm in a 4-tick Renko, let me go to a 2-tick and see what's there. Or I'm in a 5-minute chart, let me go down to a 2-minute chart and see what's there. Very, very exhausting and very likely to cost you not only capital, but also be draining, and it's very hard to focus in that environment. Overall, we held a pretty positive delta throughout the session, even though we finished below. Not much to say other than the fact that it was an inside day after new all-time highs, a resting day after following non-farm payrolls. This is quite traditional, actually, that the Monday after non-farm payrolls is a non-event. And so that's what we had. So yesterday, here it is, versus Friday. You could see that it's a lower high, higher low. We have not breached the one-time framing, so the overall trend is higher. And then this morning we came in, we opened, we sold off down into 46.80 and came right back into the MC point of control, or the prior day's point of control, and balance, and then pulled back to the full session levels before finishing right here, right on top of the overnight point of control, right on top of prior settle, all this stuff. And so this is what we're dealing with coming in this morning. Delta, relatively negative overnight, but really not much to speak of. Let's step back and look at what we've done in the bigger picture. When we look at the bigger picture here, and you can see how, as I talked about yesterday, it is weakening. It appears to be weakening or flagging for now. And by the way, I expect that there will be very low viewership today because Comcast has a huge outage. I know they have one in Chicago, here in Indiana, and a couple people reached out asking if there will be a Trader Bite since they can't go online. I'm not on Comcast. I'm on fiber here, and it's running just fine. So I feel fortunate to have that. But overall, we're just sitting sideways. To the folks that don't have access, you probably won't miss much today, is my point. We are definitely consolidating up here around the 46.90. So there's not much to talk about here other than the fact that we have been one-time framing up in what is the longest streak of up days, up closes since, what is it, 1971 or something like that? Something like 18 out of 19 days, or 17 out of 19 days, something like that. It's a huge streak that we've got going here. And you know how streaks end. Generally, they end with a very strong move in the opposite direction. So we're seeing ranges compressing. We're seeing volume fall off. And I don't expect that to change as we are sneaking up and sticking to all-time highs. Okay, so as I talked about yesterday morning, this is a great environment to just be very mindful and cautious about the trades that you're taking and how you're stepping into them. and that's what I have for you today. I'm not going to sit here and babble on when there's not much input to provide other than that, just that. That's all there is to it. So let's take a look at what's expected for today. Okay. All right. The key price down below, is this 46.75. This is one of the key areas. It's within reach. It's within reach of the 1 vol sigma down, which is at 72.50. This is the key price below. Of course, the key price above, so let's write that in, 75. The key price above, of course, is the 11.12, which is the new which was the all-time high currently, and we are sitting smack dab in the middle of these. We're at the midpoint in between these two prices. The better trade, of course, for day traders is that it tests the 75, pulls back, gives us an opportunity to get short, because this will be the second test on that 75 from below. The 75 was the all-time high for a period. Back here was retested right here, and if this will be the second test, so a touch of 75 or into 75 with a pullback, triggers off a short for me, a structured short. So in a structured short, I'm looking for 3 or 4R. I'm looking for it to push to the next major structure, which is down below at 54, 46, 54, 75. So 54. So the big kind of swingish map on the short side is a test of 75, pullback, trigger short, depending on the structure where VWAP is and all that stuff on the day, and then looking for it to break the 75 for 54, probably expecting to risk about 5 points for about a 30-point swing. So we'll see if we ever get that. I do believe that the rally is weakening. The buyers are really having, despite all the lifting, they're not getting any price gains. And so to me, the buyers seem to be lagging a little bit in the action. Currently, we're on top of the overnight point of control, around the overnight, just above the overnight, the full session VWAP and mid. We are on top of settlement and on top of the composite point of control, on top of yesterday's point of control. A lot going on in this area. Very choppy open. So I'm expecting the open to be relatively choppy. I expect it to make an attempt lower, try to push higher, consolidate, and then hold steady here, and most likely start to test towards down into the 85 again. Yesterday it got to 86, 87. So 86, 85 for a pullback to test below and then finish again in balance. There's really nothing for the market to price right now. A move out of here is expected to be a technical move, not a revaluation type move. The secondary scenario is an open auction that skews down, pulls into the MC point of control, which is at 90 right here as we continue to draw this map. And then we get an impulse. The impulse is important. The impulse informs the trade. That gives us a setup to trade the pullback of the impulse on a continuation trade. And in that scenario, we'll start pushing 4,700, consolidate it to 4,700. So the double O right here, double O. And then we start to release to the upside. Yesterday's high at 07, and then we're looking at the 11-12 break for the Vol Sigma at 15. So 15 becomes the next key area. So this is what I have. I mean, there's really not much to do here other than to sit and wait. It feels like the holidays, even though the holidays are not here yet. The holidays begin about 2 weeks from now here in the U.S., but overall, that's what we have as we move forward. Okay, so be patient. Just focus on your plan, focus on being disciplined, focus on being here for the time when this thing releases, because it will release. We can only consolidate or rally for so long before we have something to reprice in the market. It's just the way the market trades. Good luck, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Take care.